welcome back. Car's been started, which is awesome, but a couple issues we gotta fix. I believe we discussed them in those videos of the car being started, maybe the one of the second day of the car being started. The oil issue, so we're leaking oil from a fitting, which after making, I can't even tell you how many fittings, only one leaking is actually pretty nice. But it's in a little bit of a weird spot, so it's gonna take a little effort to fix this one, but not that big of a deal. Since we already have to pull this line off to fix it and we're gonna dump oil everywhere, I decided I'm just gonna move my oil filter because it's in a spot that I was never really happy about, but it was kind of just like throw it down here because this spot works. But now that we got further along with the build and more parts are on the car, it's in a spot that I don't like anymore. So let me show you where the leak is and where we're gonna move the oil filter, and then maybe I might make new lines for my catch can too and move that, hide that somewhere just to make it a little more not as cluttered. So this is the Gretty oil filter relocation thing. This is the hose that's leaking right here. Since it's kind of hard to like show everything, I will demonstrate on this hose. It's not leaking from the fitting here like attached, it's leaking from this end right here. I guess when I started to screw this section of the fitting on, it pushed the hose out a little bit and it's not making a good seal. So we're leaking from like underneath here, but there. And now to the fun part. This hose connects all the way down there, which is on the side of the block, which I don't know if you can really tell that well, but it's gonna be a little annoying to get to, but we're gonna have to make this work. I will have to also remember which line goes where, because there's actually like a send and a return for both sides. The oil cooler side doesn't really matter as much, but you gotta remember to hook up the oil cooler side to the oil cooler side and the block side to the block, if that makes sense. And then the block has a send. The part on the block has a send and a return, and the part on the relocation kit has a send and return. So those have to be together in the right orientation, and then we should be good with that. Let me show you where I'm going to move it now. So oil filter is there. The catch can is next to it, then the fuel pressure regulator is right next to that. It's a little crowded in that area. I'm not too crazy about it, so that oil filter is going to go over to there. It will actually make it a little bit neater for when I change the oil. Probably get a less spillage all over the place, because at the moment we're probably just going to run down and just make a mess. That paper towels from the leaky guy. I'm going to have to make a bracket to fit across here, probably to hold that. So this is going to go up, probably turn this way, so oil cooler lines are going to go down and around. So I might just have to change the fittings on the end of this line, but then I'm gonna have to come around this way and then down in there with the fittings for the other side. So shouldn't be too bad. I'm trying to think of like the cleanest way of doing this, but I think we're just gonna make a mess either way. So I got extra new fresh roll of paper towels, put a couple oil absorbent pads around, and I guess we're just gonna send it. I was gonna try to do this without draining the oil, but hopefully I might have to. But I mean, I could pull off one of these lines from the oil cooler over here, and then just, I guess that would drain out from the filter over, but I'm still gonna have from the filter to the block. It's gonna have oil in it, so. So far so good, but that was the easy part. The oil cooler side will be super easy. Like I said earlier, I think I might just have to change the fittings, hopefully. Fingers crossed on that one. The block side, I'm definitely gonna have to change. Definitely gonna have to lengthen the lines and redo them all. Save myself a little, this was one of the other videos. Made myself a little chart to remember where to go where. Really just for myself. It's not really like a definitive one of how to do this, but that's how I have it hooked up. And I believe that's how it said to do it on the Gretty side, actually. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to try to get to the side on the block, and then we'll keep going here. This is just really in like a horrible spot for filming right now, so I'm going to try to get those out. Then I will then we'll make new ones, I guess. I'll show you how to make new ones. I don't even know. We'll work on it. So a lot less oil came out than I thought was gonna come out. Gotta worry about mounting this relocation thing somewhere. Then we can worry about extending the hoses or changing fittings, whatever we gotta do to make that work. But gotta figure out. I'm probably gonna wind up dripping oil from that. Also, gonna have to make a mounting bracket for it. Hopefully I don't have to take this fender back off. Then we gotta mount it up and then work on the hoses. So let me figure out where the hell I'm gonna put it, which I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put it where I said I was. So it's kind of like hidden. It's not really gonna be hidden much because you're still gonna see it. But I guess if you get a black oil filter, it kind of hides it more. Let's figure this out. I see me taking the fender off happening, so guess we'll do that. I think it's gonna end up with the placement of it being here. Wish I could have it at a better spot, but gonna have to try to find new filters. Just got drill another hole for mounting this thing up, so it has two guys holding it in. But other than that, it's probably gonna be about here. Got to figure out where the hell I'm gonna drill it, but it's gonna be here. So we got the final placement of this. It's gonna stay there. It's gonna stay there. The one line coming off of the oil cooler itself is gonna sneak on this side of the intercooler piping, and I can connect right into the bottom of the relocation kit. The one I have this little oil pressure temperature block from the other side of the oil cooler goes into that, and then into this hose right here. That's got to go into the other side, so I got to extend this one to go wrap around and in. Then we're gonna have to deal with those two headed down there, which shouldn't be a big deal. So let me clean off my workbench and get ready to make some AN lines. Now I'm thinking about it, I probably didn't have to take off the other piece of the fitting, but it's already done. Already got the new guy on. Let's see how hard it's gonna be to get the new guy started. Just got to do that a few more times, so let me finish that quick and then we'll get back. Down to the last hose. This is the last one I got to make. This is I guess this is the main replacement for the only one that was leaking, but the one that was leaking was this one that I'm gonna put on, if that makes any sense. But real quick, you tape up the end, cut it with something like a grinder or something, put your fitting on, Got to jam it on. Takes a little effort. Then you put the other fitting into this one and tighten it down. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. But I'm gonna do this one. Then these hoses are done. Maybe I'll just zip tie them up neat, and then we gotta worry about. Then I'll find something else to do. So the oil filter relocation kit is relocated again, and I guess I'll put the fender back on. Then then I gotta check something else. Hold on, let me throw the fender on. So another thing I know I gotta do is check this map sensor to confirm which one it actually is, but it's kind of in like a really horrible spot. So I gotta figure out how the hell I'm gonna get to it. Let me show you where it is. Intake manifold, map sensor right there. Should be fun. Alright, so I checked the map sensor. It is actually a 5.2 bar. The map that the tuner sent me is for a 3.5 bar sensor because I forgot what sensor I had and I left it out of the email. So he sent me, like, I guess the standard is the 3.5. So he sent me that map for 3.5. My sensor is a 5.2. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to change it in the configurator in the AEM tuner program thing. So that's it for right now. Not gonna end this video yet. We're gonna pick up tomorrow where we're gonna bleed the brakes, add coolant, and then we're gonna start back up, and hopefully we run pretty good. And then maybe we can take it on the first test drive. We'll see about that. So we'll pick it back up in a second.